I'm Kevin Fleet, I work for Energy Staff also.
David?
David Wright, Gary Public Transit.
So we're here today, do we have to approve the minutes first?
Yes.
No.
Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from, so this is officially, that last one was October 19th? Because I know we had several minutes, meetings.
Mhm.
But this,
We had the peer committee for
Okay.
the roof application.
so
Yeah.
the last actual meeting that we had of the committee was October 19th. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at those? Anyone want to make a motion to approve? Okay, we have a motion, second. Second. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye. Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, motion carries and minutes are approved. Thank you very much.
We also had the task force meeting for the 2050 plus plan, and we have most of the members here at the land use committee. We're going to have another one coming very soon. And actually, we are in the process of doing 2050 plus plan, and we have a land use element, and the land use committee is overseeing all the products coming from the consultant. And also we have a working group or a task force that review everything with the consultant and give us feedback. If you would like to join us, I will add your name.
Okay, thank you.
So today, actually, we don't have much of the agenda items. We had the peer committee was on January 11th. We held a meeting and we went over all the applications and all the scores, either by the applicant or by NERC, and we had some adjustment to the scores based on a discussion. And so we have this number of application, which is, I think, 7, 8, 9. So we have
all the way back there.
We have 9 applications under the land use committee, and then we have the new roadways application, which is, for us, we don't give the final score for this application. It's the surface transportation committee is the one doing that, but we have to review it from the land use perspective and how does that impact the land use. So also I put some score. I reviewed that with Scott, and Scott gave me also the final score of their peer committee. I was attending also this committee. So we will go first over the planning applications here, which we have the first one. It was a Gary Airport Road relocation. I think I have a map here showing the project. So they wanted to move because they wanted the runway here. They want to widen the runway, and they wanted to move the airport road, to east, as you see here, and then connect back again here. So this project by the city of Gary. And this one, we got score, the score here for this one, as you see, a self-score was 77, and we give 71. We had discussion about the score, and then the peer committee scores was 78. So, any discussion over this project? The second project here, it's a study by the city of Hammond. Quickly. I'm trying to get the map so everyone can see that.
I have just a question about the Gary project. It seems like we're going to start zipping through these, but what is this for? So to relocate the road to widen the runway or extend the runway for larger cargo planes, or what's
Yeah.
the point?
They did not explain, but they said, like they don't have enough, runaway for that, so they
Okay.
wanted to widen it though. He said it's narrow.
And they're also gonna,
Cross runway, so they expanded the one,
Mm-hmm,
I don't remember the direction, but now they're expanding the cross
okay.
runway.
they're also
Alright.
going to do something with the entrance ramp. The upper entrance ramp, which is east of, Pine.
Yeah,
Basically, they're moving it out of the way, they're moving it 1,000 feet, looking at my, notes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This could be quite significant. It seems like it'd be a good achievement.
Thank you.
Yeah, new development opened up, I think I'm looking at 100 acres for new development.
Yeah, so they wanna look at moving the roads, look at the type of land use, the lands, the acquisition that they have to do, so it's a planning project.
Okay, thank you.
The next one here, it's in Columbia Street, and that's transportation corridor planning. And they wanna look at the Columbia Street, try to do some improvement, some planning and environmental linkages to the road. And again, this is a corridor plan, they're gonna have some improvement for pedestrian activities and sidewalk. And that's the condition of the road, it's really bad, so they want just the type of improvements and make it welcoming bike and pedestrian. So that's the Hammond Road, Columbia Road. And again, the score for this one was 89, 89, 89. So no discussion, so they did the application right, no issue with this one. And as you see, like the more the higher the score, the more they meet the criteria in the application. The third one, which is also Hammond. And in this one, they wanted to have actually a TOD study along the proposed station. I had some question about the station because I know that they are proposing to NICTI to have a Westlink station, but I thought that it's freeze for now. But when I talked to Hammond, they said they already agreed to have the station, but I think they wanna move forward with the station after they finish the 3 station of the Hammond area, of the Hammond, South Hammond and Munster Dyer station, the 2 other stations. So, but it's in the process and it's approved. So in this case, we consider it as a TOD, and they wanted to have, significant improvement around the station, and that's why they want to have a plan, and Kiss and Ride. So that's another one, which is the score here. Also for this one is 90. When I review it, it was 88, but then with the discussion, it was 93. So the next one is Mirabel, and that's the 93rd corridor. This one. Just wanted to show you the map right away. It's better this one. Yeah. So they wanted to extend 93rd Street east of 65. And and they have another connection also going to 83rd. So that's the first project to be connected. And it's important connection, and maybe it made more sense than the other one, but however, we reviewed both applications, and this one is scored, here is 61, self-score, I gave it 65, and we agreed for the 65.
The next one here, which is the Mirrorville, the new town center, planning. And in this one, they wanted to have actually a downtown along Broadway, along the City Hall area, and also south of Perry, all the way to Century Plaza. This area, it has like a 2 GPTC transit stop. It has like so many factors that give it like a higher score. So in this one here, the self-score 86, NERC 90, and then you stick to the 90 at the fifth.
Question.
You all right, David?
So that's the one. Any questions so far? Okay. The next one is Monster here, and I can get this one too. This is along the station, the proposed station of the West Lake Corridor. And Tom is here, he can talk better than me about this application.
Yeah, actually I have a question, because I can't remember what we talked about when we did our joint scoring meeting, whether or not this is considered a plan, or a study, or a plan, because it's an actual reconstruction, or it's a reconstruction project.
It's, yeah, it's a reconstruction, but like we said, under the TOD.
Okay.
So it will be like the planning, you know, like under planning, they have a TOD subcategory, and in the TOD, it's divided to planning and implementation.
Okay, all right.
So in the end, there will be implementation,
Okay, that's what I thought.
but the whole planning, including TOD, yeah.
Sure, okay.
So.
Yeah, I can just talk briefly about this. This is, the outlined in red there is the project location. The kind of larger road going diagonal along the bottom of the image there is Ridge Road. And then to the east of the red line there is the NICD Westlake extension.
Yeah,
The new station.
the
will be-
station is here.
Yeah, right up there, and
Yeah.
then in that green area is going to be the commuter parking lot.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, this project is, basically just a reconstruction of that stretch of Manor Avenue, which is the north-south street, and Broadmoor Avenue, which is the east-west, over to Holman Avenue, which is I think it's a minor arterial going into Hammond. And it's a reconstruction of the roadway, installation of wider sidewalks, ornamental lighting and street signage, ornamental crosswalks, and did I say wide sidewalks and street trees? So it's just kind of like a streetscaping reconstruction project.
Thank you. And the scoring for this one, here is Monster. So it's 73, NERC did 79, and then at the peer score committee was 80. So that's the final score for this. And by the way, do you know, like when we have a discussion and the scores change higher or something, it's a kind of agreement. Sometimes we look at the, for example, the employment area, you know, like NERC maybe consider a portion, and they said as long as you are within the employment, you should receive a full mark. So over the discussion about that, so it's not like any major changes. It's just about how we score it, and we make sure to be consistent because everyone did that in the other applications.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think all the actual construction projects got like one extra point because there was a safety point that, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was one group, I think, Gary, maybe, that added a point for their, like, safety.
Also, then everyone got
factor, so we're all like, well, I guess we're all in the same.
Oh, yeah.
Should get it, yeah. Okay, the next one is Laporte Comprehensive Plan. They wanted to do a city-wide comprehensive plan, and they already
got the score of 93rd here. Self-score, NEPC did 89, and then again with the discussion, got like 93. By the way, this project already got funds because they agree with the group 2. You know, they have money left over, so they already talked to the Porter County and Michigan City, and they agreed to give them the funds. So this one will be out of the competition. Okay, the next one is quality of place now. We're moving to quality of place, and that's in Central Avenue in Michigan City. In Portage. We actually did not give much, but it's mentioned everywhere that they have for Central Avenue. They already have some recommendation for improvements. And this one here, it did not receive as high score as we expected, but yeah, that's another issue. You know, the quality of place applications it's very tough. You know, like to meet the criteria. However, you know, it's still like considered. So it was 41 self-score, and actually they missed 10 when they did the calculations. I told them that, so it was supposed to be 51, which I should maybe change it because I know that they missed the whole 10. But when I did review it, it was 60, and then we still, you know, the final was 60.
What were they exactly proposing us to do?
It's, yeah, let me get the application, but it's all improvement for sidewalk and lighting, and so it's a bunch of improvements, you know, like for
Was this tied in with the money that we moved from the bridge previously into the Central Avenue project some time ago?
No,
No, this was
it's a
separate.
different, yeah, that's a separate one. The thing is, Portage just completed a comprehensive plan, and they have, or a downtown plan, and they just have some recommendations also to improve Central. So it's the only application, by the way, for Portage or for the quality of place. We don't have any other application. However, the quality of place, it's a tier 3. So it's not really top of the list, so we'll see, you know, like what we can do. Charles, do you have any, Charles is with us online, if you have any questions to Charles. Are you still with us, Charles?
I'm still here, not sleeping.
Hi, Gerald.
Okay, so you're here in case of any questions. Did you hear the questions from George?
I heard him saying hi.
Well,
No,
previously about how does that tie in with the central, the quality of place project, tie in with the previous transfer of the money from the bridge and Portage over to Central Avenue project for the road improvements.
So that bridge, you talking about Samuelson Road?
Yes,
Samuelson, yeah.
That went over the Crispin Road,
Okay,
those funds from Samuelson Road, paying for the Crispin Road remaining.
Oh, okay. So it didn't go to Central.
North,
okay,
249,
yeah,
or 220.
yeah, I see that they did a lot of improvements here.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
The next one here is in Valparaiso. And this one, it's a TOD implementation, which is like Munster. And it's around Campbell Street and Horse Prairie improvements.
My question on that one is, Mike Jabo said that we weren't, I thought all the new projects were gonna have no at-grade crossings, but he said that due to some issues with the railroad, that this was going to be an at-grade crossing because of some complications. Is there any explanation, further explanation as to why that's the case?
No.
Because, no. Tom, do you have no?
I don't right offhand, my guess would be that there's some pretty significant grades
Well,
going
there's-
through there.
Yeah, well, there is, but originally it was supposed, my understanding was going to be a tunnel underneath.
No, they stopped this project. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
the
we're
tunnel
talking about.
Yeah, right,
Probably.
so now it's at grade crossings, just like said.
Yeah,
The
Charles?
tunnel is north. It's right at Indiana Avenue and Campbell Street, it's where the tunnel is gonna be.
Yeah, it's near
It's a
there, yeah.
different crossing.
Oh, okay. So they move it from
If
Campbell.
you look at that, where the project location is, this would be a new road going straight north to connect with the Campbell Street on the
Campbell
north side.
Street, okay.
Right.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, so that's the project location.
Mm-hmm,
So it's basically, they are talking about implementation here. And this one, yeah, here we go. There is the proposed improvements to connect, yeah, to Lincoln Way.
is that link in our package? That particular link we're looking at now?
Package, like you said.
The package that we have, I went through it, but
Oh, yeah.
okay,
So that's the one they wanted to, some improvement on sidewalk and everything that like could improve the area for a TOD. We're gonna have a discussion later about Valpo also for the legislative update. But let's just finish this. So this one is called,
Here, Valparaiso is called it's of course, it's a downtown area within transit stations. And so it was 91, Nipsey 91, and then the one point we added, as Tom mentioned, it's 92. So it's scored very high. So the more in, like in urbanized area or downtown area, or it has transit, it's usually scored very high. Okay.
the next one here is all the new roadways. So we have the Willow Creek Extension, Phase 2. And Bob Thompson is here. We can talk about this one.
Phase 2, is right there at State Road 130 and 625 West. It's gonna be taking, Phase 1 will be coming down 625 West to 130. Now, Phase 2 is then going to be creating the interchange, and constructing those bridges that will cross 130 and the two sets of railroad tracks that are immediately south of 130.
Yeah, here's the map.
So we are going to be creating an interchange there, probably do a swing out to the west off of that red line there and come back into 130 and connect it.
So the north side.
Yeah, north side 130.
And it's called Symphony or something. Okay, yeah. So with 64, Nipsey 63, and then the final score was 70. Or something else also wasn't calculated right, and so it ended up with 70. Any questions? That was discussed at the Surface Transportation Committee.
Just a note here, it says the employee of responsible charge is Jeff Hewitt.
Yeah, you need to take that chart and drop it, that last column. Just one space.
Yes, you're right. This is Sheridan.
Yeah, because they have me in charge of the Valparaiso project.
Looks like every.
For sure, did you see, I think we moved something, so it moved everything. Yeah, don't worry, yeah, Sherrville is here, so it looks like we switched some people. Okay, I will fix that. The next project here is, Sherrville, and that's Kennedy Avenue, Phase 4. And this one has been, it's already, you know, like, we have it in the tab. So they continue this project, which they receive more points because it's already like legacy project. So the score was 67, and then NEPC 72, and 72 the final score. The next project here. We don't have anybody from Sherrville, it's San John, and that's the Klein Avenue. By the way, the three projects, Willow Creek, Kennedy Avenue, Klein Avenue, the three of them came out of the regional corridor study. It was recommended as important missing gap that should be connected, which we're glad to see that implemented. So San John also, it's a missing link, and they wanted to get the extension to US 30. The score for that was 67, NEPC 72, and end up with 72. The next one, it's a 2 project in LaPorte. That's a group 2. And then this one, actually, they wanted a new roadway construction. Did the map, it's better to see where it is because not everyone familiar with that. Street. I can put it like that. I want you to see it very nice. So that's the connection we wanted to have an improvements. And this one actually did not score high. It's in vacant area. It's almost nothing there. And it's not really improving even the congestion and these things. So the two of the LaPorte, which is the Lake Street extension and Polk Street extension, both the first one scored 29 and NEPC 30, and then with some discussion and correcting score was 38. Polk Street 22 and 25. That's the final score 25 now. So I don't think, you know, their chances to get funded for that, it's very low because of the score. The other thing, Charles, I think you mentioned that before, you know, like because of the limitation of funding, I think that we will go also with the score, or if it's a legacy project also, I think it will get some weight because it's a legacy project, it's already on the tip. So to consider that. And it depends also on the availability of the category, like planning is not like so too much money. using limited money, so it will be easy maybe in the near future to get some money for planning. Implementation will start, Charles, like 27, 28?
Yeah, these are funds for 27 and 28.
Yes.
Because of the inflation that's been going on with projects, our funding availability in 27 and 28 is been greatly reduced, because everybody's been affected by the inflation. Costs have gone up 30% on average for construction projects. So either the solutions were either the cities and towns to pay that extra 30% on their own dime, or we would fund it, but we would take that into account with other projects, so we don't have as much as, we don't have we annually have $23 million a year to spend, but, we're moving some projects in 25 and 26 up to 27, 28, so we can afford everything. We discussed that in T-Rock extensively.
Yeah, and you will know that, oh, okay, go ahead.
You see, if anybody's got any questions, by all means, give me a call, drop me a line.
And you will know by January of 2024, right?
What's that?
About the funding, if there is any changes to the funding.
This is, well, there's always changes to the funding, because what we have in 24, 25, 26, and 27, those are just estimates from NDOT. So, they will change, but they're only gonna change by, they're not gonna change by a significant amount of money, so.
Okay. Thank you, Charles. The next project is 2 phases, and that's for Hobart is applying for that. They wanted to have a connection for 83rd Street here to Colorado with the 2 roundabout. And they have it like a 2 phases, so it's a 2 applications. This one here, I think the score wasn't that high too, even though it's close to US 30, but the score the same. So with 50, their self-score 46, and then the peer committee scored 50. So that's another it's one project, but it's 2 phases for quote. So that's the last one for the new roadways. Any questions? We should have a recommendation for the TPC.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to entertain a motion for a recommendation to the transportation planning committee for recommendation.
So,
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is the recommendation just to submit these scores?
Final scores.
The
Yeah.
Final scores.
Yeah, the final scores. Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of recommendation moving forward to the TPC, signify by saying aye. Aye. Vote and opposed, say nay. The motion carries. Thank you very much.
The next item. We also received the second report from the RDG consultant. And both report, the first for the 2050 plus plan. So both reports will be listed under our website under 2050 plus. So if you can look into that, we had a presentation at the task force
However, in the next land use committee, which I think it's in April, we will have the final recommendations presented here at the land use committee. But we will have one more task force committee before we take it to the final. So most probably like maybe end of February or early March. So, on to the next item.
Okay, moving right along, we are now in legislative updates,
Yeah.
pages 4 through 7 in your packet.
I have a question too, so I have the summary. So this is, we figured out it's Valparaiso. We're talking about Valparaiso here in this one. It's a House Bill 1540 that was introduced by Ed Soliday, and it's specifically to add the city of Valparaiso to the TDD, or the Transit Development District. And in this one, they talk about that, like, if a community have already a commuter bus service to Chicago, and they have another bus going to the South Shore Station or the Westlake Station, then they should be added to the TDD districts. So, it should be effective by July 1st, so I'm keep an eye on that and try to see, you know, like what's gonna happen.
Is it past both houses?
Hmm?
Is it past both houses already?
No, it's went to the Transportation Committee. Yeah.
That
So-
still has to go to both houses. Okay. What exactly does this do? Does it just allow them to go in and get RDA funds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so when,
And to define also a TDD district to be able to collect the income tax. Like, it's the same, like in Munster and other areas.
Yeah.
They were already established for the NICTY lines.
Yeah.
Gary Hammond, East Chicago, Munster, I think Portage, and Michigan City have TDDs established, and this would basically add Valpo as a TDD district.
Yeah.
So that would be the city of Valparaiso.
Yeah, it would be a city of Valparaiso TDD district. So I thought it would be important to share this information. I'm watching that to see, you know, what's gonna happen. Yeah.
Is it specifically for city of Valparaiso, or is it just
It looks
in a roundabout way?
Like, how do you say Valparaiso without actually
They said
saying
it's
the word
a city.
That's
Valparaiso?
what I'm saying. I can see the parameters
Special
here.
legislation.
It's,
but
You know,
when you see it, you say it's a city of Valparaiso.
Special
Well,
legislation.
it'd be like how Valpo did the
Special legislation
liquor
recently.
licenses, and Crown Point said, oh, we're gonna do that too. You know what I mean? It's gonna be, who else could?
Which is
it does
good.
make all- I mean, it's a benefit, obviously, but I think it could also benefit town of Maribel as well, because I don't know that they're in, are they in that?
No, but they don't have commuter bus and they don't have anything that fits the parameters of, this finely detailed,
eligible community.
They don't have it consolidated.
Yeah, so-
Basically, yeah.
Because they said and, so if they have already a commuter bus to
It's pretty
Chicago,
specific.
and they have and shuttle bus services that transport riders to the train station. You know, like, so it's a puzzle, who's this? It's
It wouldn't
Valparaiso.
take much. I can see Maribel easily jumping in on that, just start a couple of things.
If RDA were to define the BMX as a shuttle bus and then give us money, it would qualify.
But like, I mean, it's establishing a commuter bus to Chicago is not that easy also, you know, like to have that and, but they said both. You have a connection to the train station with a bus, a shuttle bus, and then you have a connection to Chicago.
Okay.
So, it wasn't specifically when you read it, you can tell it's about Valparaiso.
is Valparaiso in favor of this? Is the city?
For sure, they are the ones, you know, like, talk to Soliday about that,
Okay.
yeah.
I guess from my perspective,
I'm sure they're all in favor of it.
so in
Yeah.
Munster, we we work with the RDA to, identify the boundaries of two TDDs. And, the benefit of a TDD is actually fairly limited versus like a TIF. Like, you could already establish a TIF and then you get all of the property tax increment. The TDD just adds on income tax increment, but it's so small, it's almost negligible. The main, the bulk of the, the revenue that will be generated will be through the property tax, so. I mean, I guess this is kind of a.
I think
another tool in the
also,
toolbox, so to speak, but
We've got
it's changed
a major project going on down there, I imagine that's probably what they're trying to focus on.
and I think also
We got the
it went
distillery going in there.
political, like more, because I see that they only in Munster consider the commercial area. They didn't go to the boundary to any residential area.
With that transportation district,
Right.
building, they're putting in a distillery, they've had high-rise housing, the road.
Yeah, because some other
gonna be
TDD, I
enormous.
see that they still capture some of the residential area. But in Munster, it's only, when I look at the Ridge Road, it's only commercial area.
Yeah, their definition of the TDD districts is pretty arbitrary, but essentially it's a TIF, it's a special TIF. Yeah.
TIF plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that we noticed is there's some ambiguity as to whether or not the income tax component is income tax from jobs within the district or the income tax of residents who live within the district. Believe it or not, they have no idea which it is.
Okay.
Even though we've gone over 5 years having this legislation in place, they still don't know if it's gonna be like, if you create jobs in the district, that will generate the income tax revenue, or if you have residential dwelling units and people earning income outside of the district but living within the district, their income tax is going to the fund, so that could change things, depending on what your focus is, if your focus is on residential development or commercial development.
Commercial, yeah.
One of those two, I guess.
Hasn't moved much, it was referred to roads and transportation about a month ago. Nothing's happened on it since. Emma, are you gonna, you should add to this, legislative list, SB 434. That's, the Melton bill. It would, establish, a convention center next to the Hard Rock, essentially,
Oh,
and would provide the funding to, replace the Metro Center with a new intermodal facility in downtown Gary,
Yeah.
which is one of those TDDs that already exist.
Okay, well, anything further on legislative updates?
yeah, that's what.
And I'll send you the
Is that-
RDA study.
Is that part of the legislation?
Yeah, that's, I forget what committee it's in, but
Originally, that was supposed to be downtown, and now it's gonna be by the Hard Rock.
well, the
Community.
Metro Center's gonna be downtown still, so it'll
Okay.
replace the current Metro Center, my office. But the convention center would be next to Hard Rock.
Okay.
Yeah. They use, some adjustment in how Hard Rock pays their casino taxes. Yeah. The RDA had been doing a, study on the Metro Center part of that, and that study has a work product that I'll send you. It's actually there's a Times article that went out over the weekend, actually had the PDF of that study, as an attachment.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I'll add as well on legislative issues. If you're a member of the Indiana chapter of the American Planning Association and you have access to the member forum, which is kind of like a bulletin board type of thing, on the website, they have sort of like a running, updated legislation tracking sheet. So if you're curious about what's going on, if there's anything related to what you're doing, you can check that.
I know there's two legislations going through, one's through the House, one through the Senate, to expand how the TIF works. About, there's one I've heard that they're looking at removing schools from the TIF, so the 15%. And then I've heard others that they're trying to give 20% from the TIF to the schools and making the school board member a voting member on the RDC committees. And then the other is for funding with development to kind of help developers develop more or less. I can't remember both those legislation numbers off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's a couple of legislators, if you always see their names attached to those types of bills.
Aim sent it out on
Jim
a
Buck
couple
being one of
updates.
Thank you.
Any other legislation? I know that, Nick, you have, maybe it's not legislation, but you are doing comprehensive.
Yeah, we're doing an update to the town comprehensive master plan. The last, real update to that was in 2007, when fields changed a lot in that amount of time. We're using the Veritas Group to do that update. Our first public sort of community meeting is this evening. So I'm bracing for impact for that meeting. I think it'll be good.
And that's at
We've already got a lot of good feedback. So that's at 6 o'clock at the town hall meeting chambers, if anyone's interested in seeing what's going on.
Who's doing it for you?
Veritas Group.
Now, is all of Winfield in Lake County?
Yes.
Bob, any news on our Porter County comprehensive plan? Any more discussion on that?
We're not gonna be doing it countywide, we're gonna be doing one for the Willow Creek Road in Union Township and South Portage.
Is that still just a half mile, or is it gonna be expanded any?
The half-mile study that I mentioned is for creating the overlays. And the actual ordinances, we're putting that one on hold. The one we're talking about is for basically west of Valparaiso, south of Portage, and a little bit south of US 30, doing a comprehensive land use study.
Well, that, we covered pretty much all of Union Township, then, a large portion of it.
Yes.
But I'd like to work on that, see if we could, discuss it further, see if we could cover the whole township. If we come up with somebody too,
It will be covered.
what would be? Great. Okay, any other legislation? If not, then, there's no need nothing to go forward with any of that.
Yeah, anyone has an update about anything that we need to know?
I'm not sure if I mentioned that we were studying the option of putting bike share docks in some of our transit stops. Preliminary study was completed by Health by Design in Indianapolis. Essentially got the money for a limited bike share program to be launched this year. We created, I'll send you the guidebook, we created a matrix that scored basically all of the bus stops in the area. And the 5 that scored highest were Metro Center in downtown Erie, the area near where the Lakeshore South and Lakeshore connection meet in downtown Hammond, downtown Millwood, the Lake Street area, University Park, where IU and Ivy Tech are located, and Lake County Government Center. Phase 1 is pretty much a lock, and that's going to be 2 locations in downtown Erie. The Metro Center and the Broadway Lofts Apartments, the new building that has just opened late last year. They're putting money into it, that developer is. Actually, they pretty much started this whole process.
What intersection with the Broadway?
That's basically 4th and Broadway and 7th and Broadway.
Okay.
Where these 2 locations are, and then somewhere in downtown Millwood. And the numbers are favorable for the second phase, which would be a few bikes in downtown Hammond and a few bikes at IU Northwest. I just had to have another meeting with the bike company that's doing the app infrastructure to see if we've got the money for that. In addition to Pivotal, which is the developer of the Broadway Lofts, we got a Knight Foundation grant through the Legacy Foundation. And that's pretty much paying for all the startup costs and the outreach, the bikes, and we don't seem to have a lot of recurring costs, which are a huge determinant. So, yeah, like I said, downtown Gary and downtown Miller Beach are pretty much a lot, and we're probably going to be looking into, very closely looking into adding some bike share docks in downtown Hammond. Yeah. But we're planning on having that up and running by June.
Anyone else around the table for community updates? All right, well, hearing none, the next Land Use Committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 26th, 2023, 10 o'clock a.m. Same location. Thank you very much for attending, and keep your hats on tight because I guess it's going to get pretty windy today, so enjoy the weather. Thank you very much for being here. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you all.